How to create a Google form and other helpful tips. Now you can get to your Google Forms and Drive in more than one way. You can start off here on our school webpage and go to quick links and visit the teacher dashboard. From here, you can go to Classroom Tools and you'll see Google Classroom right here at the top. The other choice is just to, in a browser tab, type in google.elpsk12.org and hit enter. Of course, you could always bookmark this. Now, if you haven't logged in for the day, it will ask you to log in. It'll bring you to our school login page, and you'll log in simply with the same exact thing you used for the school computers. I've already logged in today, so I've just been authenticated, and here I am. Now, this is your Google dashboard, and it's going to have all your different apps. You should see everything here, but if there's something you're not seeing, you can come up to the top right corner of the screen and you'll have your apps menu right here. You can look through this to find anything that you might be missing. Now, your apps are all for different things. If you want to find all of your documents, though, you're going to want to visit your Drive. So this little triangle symbol is your Google Drive, and it's going to have everything. So you can get to docs and forms and slides separately, but if you want to find where they're all saved together, it will be in your Drive. So that's where we're going to go today. Now, it's important to keep your Drive organized. You want to just start off right away by making lots of folders. Google will save everything. As soon as you make something, even if it ends up being junk, it's already saved it. And so keeping things labeled and having folders for all different things are going to make your life much easier. Today, we're going to just make a Google form. So to make any new document starting off in your Drive, you can come over to where it says New here on the left corner. You can make new folders here. You can make a new Google Doc, Google Sheet, or Google Slides, which is similar to Excel or PowerPoint. But to go to Forms, you want to hit More. When you go down this way, you'll find Google Forms, and that's what I'm going to select. So the one thing you want to get into habit of is naming your form right away. So I'll just create a test form. Of course, it's going in the wrong box. Up here is what you want to do, test. And down here where it says form description is where you could, of course, put a description, or you could put directions for your students, whatever you want them to see. Now, one of my tips is really a personal preference, which is that for the first question, I actually like to make it the students' names. And I like to put first and last, so I'm not trying to guess which student exactly I'm looking at. I like to do this because I think it's just easier when I'm viewing the form to look over the answers or grading. I like to be able to just see the name first and then be able to look at their answer right underneath it. Now, to make it a name question, you can leave it as short answer, but this is also where you can change the type of question that you're giving. By clicking on this drop-down menu, you could pick from short answers, paragraphs, multiple choice, drop-down menus. There's a lot of different things you could do here, so you could play around and see what all those options are. The other thing you want to make sure you do, though, is here at the bottom, hit this required button. If something is required, they will not be able to submit the form until they actually fill out that question. So you want to make sure you do that for anything that you absolutely want an answer for. When you're ready to add a new question, just come over here to this plus sign and hit add question. And again, you can decide what type of question you want to answer. Over here, it allows you to do different things. You can import questions from other places. You can add titles and descriptions. So if you want specific directions for that question, you could add that. You could also import images. So that's a lot of different things you can play around with. Now, the other important tip I want to leave you with is that when you create a form, you want to create a separate form for each of your Google Classrooms. So if you're teaching social studies, science, language arts, math, if you have 4 different Google Classrooms for your 4 different classes, you then want 4 different forms to match those classrooms. If you create one form and share it with all 4 classes, student answers will all be in that one form. I think that can sometimes make it a little bit more difficult when you're trying to grade because they're not going to be in any sort of order except for how the time they were submitted. You're not going to be able to sort it by class. So what I like to do is come up here back to my title and I'll name this one Class 1. Now I can come over to these dots at the top corner and hit make a copy. So now it's the exact same form, but I can rename it for the other class. And you can save it in whatever folder you want to. So if you've already created a folder, you can sort it right there if you'd like to. And you can hit OK. So I'll do this a few more times, and I'd have one form for each of my classes. When I go into my Google Classroom, I will select the form that corresponds to that class, and it just makes your life a little bit easier in the end when you're trying to sort through all those answers and grading and trying to see who's completed work and who hasn't. If you have any other questions about forms, please feel free to send me an email.